Hi, welcome back to Aunt Janet's Kitchen. Today, I'm a guest in Raina's home.
Hi.
Hi, Raina's my niece, and she is in 7th grade?
8th grade.
8th grade. Oh, she's in 8th grade, and Raina loves to cook. So today, we're going to work on my step-by-step recipe for raspberry rosemary pork roast. And it's a nice, simple recipe. And Raina likes it. We fixed it last year, and so she thought it would be fun to do it on our video,
Raina,
on our website. Before we get started, would you like to say something to the YouTube world here in this video?
Hi everybody in the whole wide world.
And a special shout out to who? Your friends?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So now we'll go over the ingredients for our recipe. All right, Raina, let's take a look at our ingredients.
Okay.
All right. First and foremost, we have 2 pork tenderloins. The very tender, small cut of pork tenderloin in the vacuum seal. And this is a nice piece of meat. It doesn't take a long time to cook, and it's very tender. Okay? Pork tenderloin. I have 2 of those, and they each are a little over 2 pounds, I believe, but we're expecting quite a bit of company. And yeah, they're over 2 pounds, just a little over 2 pounds each. This one's a little bigger. All right, now our next ingredient I'll review are the seasonings. I like kosher salt to sprinkle on the outside of meat. It's a little more coarse. And of course, fresh ground pepper. All right, and then I also season, before I start roasting the meat, I use mustard seed. Right, and they're little teeny round seeds. I just spilled some all over the kitchen. All right, they're tiny little seeds, and we're going to toast them and then crush them, all right? And then we're going to put that on the outside of the meat. Then we're also going to add rosemary, all right? And I have 2 kinds of rosemary here, do you see?
Yeah.
This is the dried rosemary leaves, and in the middle of the winter when there's no fresh rosemary available, you can use that. But today we got some wonderful fresh rosemary from the market, and we're going to pull that off the stems and chop it up to use on the outside of the roast. All right, when the roast is nearly finished, we're going to create a raspberry glaze and finish off the meat with the raspberry glaze to give a nice sweet flavor. So what we have here is our seasonings are really rather savory. We have the mustard, we have the pepper, we have the rosemary. But right before the roast is finished, we're going to add the sweet glaze. So we have a savory sweet combination going on this wonderful piece of pork. Oh, are you still filming? Also, I don't want to forget, nice quality olive oil. That's going to go on the roast first. So those are our steps. We're going to get busy with step 1, which is going to be toasting the mustard seed. And at home, I use my little toaster oven. Put some seed in the toaster oven before I take it out to crack it. But we don't have a toaster oven here, so we're going to improvise by using a small frying pan. All right? So Raina, I don't know how to use your stove. Can you get the burner lit? We've used a small frying pan, and Raina put it on the heat and turn the heat down low. You don't want the flames coming out the outer edges of the pan. We're going to let it sit there until it's pretty warm. Right now I can feel the heat. I'm going to let it build a little bit more. And then I'm going to take 2 teaspoons of the mustard seed. 1 teaspoon per roast. So I'll measure that out. If it'll come out of the 1 and 2. All right, that's really quite a bit. Let that pan get a tiny bit hotter. That feels pretty good. All right, we're going to put that mustard seed on there. And then Raina, if you wouldn't mind getting her a little snap. Yep, did you see it pop?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to roll it around a little bit. Let them get toasty.
Oh, why do you make the mustard seed
Toasty?
toasty?
Well, I like to do that because heat will release the flavors more in the mustard seed. And I don't know if there's oils in it in the mustard seed or whatever, but the heating of it makes the flavor more intense. So I'm going to let that heat up And pop around a little more. Can you turn the heat up a tiny bit, Green? Oh, there's one popping. Okay, turn it up a little bit. Oh, see them snapping? Do you see? Oh, they're popping out. Turn that heat down. They don't like it. Oh, they're popping all over. Okay, I think they're done. Turn it off. It's like popcorn. Well, now we need to crush these little mustard seeds, these toasty mustard seeds. And the ideal way to do it is with a mortar and pestle. Right. But if I don't have a mortar and pestle, I simply take the metal bowl and I go like this with the ice cream scoop, okay, and that crushes it. Now, your mom showed up with a mortar and pestle, so we're going to take the mustard seed, yeah, and you're going to use the pestle
and crush it.
Right, so you can crush some with that, and I'll crush some with the ice cream scoop. How's it going?
Good.
Good? Okay. Yep, I'm making progress too. You hear them snapping?
Yeah.
Are they snapping in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Actually, oh, that's going really well. Great. You smell it now? Can you smell that mustardy flavor?
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is going to add a lot to our pork roast. Okay, I think I'm about done. How about you?
Almost done.
Almost done? Okay. We'll edit some of this out. But. You good?
Couple
Here,
more.
this is what you want to do. Stir it up. Yeah, stir it up and then pound it down again. One of the reasons why you want to crush these is when you go to eat it, the texture of the mustard seed is fine, you know, it tastes great, but if you're eating whole mustard seeds, it's a little too intense. So you want to get it a powdery, crushed effect there.
I think that
Looks good? Okay, let's combine it together in the bowl.
I'm gonna try to put this.
Yeah, put that over by the sink. Okay. Now, you want a close-up of what it looks like? Okay. It's pretty coarse. Alright, there's probably still a few in there that are whole. Tilt it this way, I'm going to dump it out of the bowl. It's fairly coarse, and you can see it's been toasted brown. Okay, Raina, this is a sprig of fresh rosemary. Take a sniff. What do you think?
Smells good.
Smells good, yeah. Alright, now we have to get the needles off of this stem. So what I'm going to do is simply go opposite the way they're pointing. And see how they slide off? Huh? They come off rather nicely. See that? So you just kind of, you have to squeeze them to get them off, and then smell. You see now that I'm taking them off, it smells even stronger?
Yeah.
Okay, why don't you try one?
Okay.
See how, you do have to squeeze pretty hard to pull them off of there. And then I just pinch them off the top. Just pinch those off the top.
Like this?
Yeah, that's good. Okay, do a few more. Okay, we want to get a good amount because we do have 2 roasts going here. There you go.
That was a big scoop.
You see how stiff the stem is there? I've seen recipes that use these stems for skewers because they're scented and flavorful, and it would, you know, if you put a piece of vegetable on there, that's okay. It would flavor that vegetable.
Now with this one.
Yeah, all right. Let's do another big one.
Okay.
Wow, you've got that technique down pat. Very good. Well, and pinch the top off, and we'll do one more. Okay. Holy smokes, you do it better than I do. Okay. Now, this little pieces of rosemary are still pretty big. All right. right?
Yeah.
So I want to make them smaller, so pass me the scissors. Now, I'm going to use kitchen shears, or just scissors, and I'm just, whoops, this is fresh, it's harder to cut. I'm going to, kitchen shears works a little better. I'm going to just cut down the rosemary so the little leaves aren't so big. So, why don't you pick up a clump, use the scissors, bring it towards the blades, like that, okay, and just get them smaller. So why don't you try that technique?
Okay.
Yeah, hold your hand down in the bowl, otherwise they're popping up on the counter, see?
Yeah.
Keep them into the bowl. Yeah, and sometimes, I tried it with this, but sometimes if the shears are, these aren't doing it. Kitchen shears, these are scissors. With kitchen shears you can just go down into the bowl and cut, but this wasn't doing that very well. Well, it's starting to do it. Okay, so you're chopping that rosemary. There might be other ways to chop rosemary, but I think using scissors it goes quicker. So go ahead, chop a little more.
Okay.
Make it a little finer. That's okay. She's doing a good job. We're ready to deal with the meat. And I just want to point out that we worked with the rosemary and we worked with the mustard before we handled the meat. I'm going to use the scissors to open this package. So I have to be worried about cross-contamination. Do you know what that is?
It's like kind of like bacterias or...
Right, and the bacteria goes from where to where?
To the rosemary?
Right, and if the bacteria may be present on uncooked meat.
Right.
And it doesn't harm us because we cook the meat and kill the bacteria.
Right.
All right, so I've just opened this package with the scissors, and there's, what do you see on that scissor?
Blood.
Blood or juices from the meat.
Right.
And those juices from the meat may have bacteria, and if I would consume it uncooked, I might get
sick.
So we're going to empty this meat into this chrome bowl. What do you call it? Stainless steel bowl. Okay. Oops, look, there's 2 tenderloins in here. I forgot about that. We're going to have lots of tenderloin today.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, there's 2 cuts in here. Now, I'm not going to leave this on the counter. Why do you think?
Because it will get bacteria right on the kitchen table.
Yeah, right. Okay, so let's discard that and I'll open the next one.
Okay.
Okay. And I can see I even have a little bit of the juice that did get on the counter. So once I get my meat in the bowl here, what do you think I should take care of next?
Use a sponge?
Yeah, something, probably a paper towel, because I don't want to put the bacteria on the sponge. Paper towels make it even cleaner. Right. So I wasn't thinking when I bought these, there's 2 tenderloins in each one of these cryovacs, so we're going to have lots of pork tonight when we have our company.
Awesome.
Awesome, okay. When your mom and I were little children,
yeah,
and we used to make a big thing about how we didn't want to do anything that was ookie-gookie. And we would talk about ookie-gookie like it was really gross. But I've learned in cooking, sometimes you have to do some ookie-gookie.
Right.
Get your hands in and get on it, okay? So we have these tenderloins, and what I want is, I want to coat them with olive oil.
Right.
And the easiest and most direct way to do that is to rub it on. All right, so I'll do one. I put a little bit of oil in the palm of my hand, like so, and I simply rub it on the meat, okay?
Okay.
And that's going to help it cook nicely, okay? So we have to fit 4 of these in this pan, so it's going to be a challenge. Now, are you up to dealing with a little ookie-gookie? You want to get some olive oil on one of these tenderloins? Yeah. Okay, girl. I'm proud of you. Wait, let me get this one out of the way.
Okay.
And then you do this over the pan, so that over the bowl, so that's the juices will fall into that bowl.
Okay.
Okay? So, go for it.
Okay.
Just put a little bit, maybe that would be about just a little bit in the palm of your hand, about half a teaspoon.
Okay.
Pick up the roast, rub it all over.
I did.
With the oil. Did you get oil all over it?
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, set it in the pan. Good, you saw what I did. I'm proud of you. that little side that was a little narrower, take a look, we've tucked it in.
Right.
Right, okay, go for it. Do the next one.
Oh man, that's slippery.
It's slippery, yeah, it's slippery, it's ookie gookie. But you're doing a great job. Good job. Okay. There you go, girl. Okay, let's take the olive oil bottle and this messy pan over to the sink.
Okay.
And use some soap and water, soap and hot water, and get your hands washed up. I wish we had a slightly bigger pan. We have these 4 tenderloins now. They are small, and we have them in the pan. We did spray the pan very lightly with Pam, and spread them out with a little bit of space around them. I would prefer if they actually had a little more space. All right, so now we're going to do our seasoning.
Yay!
Yay, okay. So I like to start with the kosher salt.
Right.
All right. And this is really kind of eyeballing as far as measurement goes, depending on the amount of meat. I'm sprinkling the salt directly on the tenderloin that has been rubbed with the olive oil, and just a little bit, you know, a pinch for each length of tenderloin. Okay, I don't want to overdo it because I am doing other seasonings as well. So there we go. That looks pretty good. Okay, you can see it. You can see it's on there like a tiny little crust, not a huge amount. All right, let me get that in there. Now, the next step is our fresh pepper. All right, I like the fresh ground pepper. We're simply going to lightly put a little twist of pepper. You can see it there on each piece. All right, Raina, I kind of went over twice because it's fine ground. Go ahead and do these two.
Okay.
Just as I did. Is it coming out? Yep. Okay, do the next one. And go over them again. Okay, do a little more. Alright, so you can see it fairly evenly dispersed. Oh, I remembered something we said we were going to do. Okay, here we go. We were going to put a sprig of rosemary underneath each one. Okay, so we'll do that. Yep.
Okay.
There you go. Oh, tuck it in. How about that one? Okay, and these are 2 small sprigs, so we'll do 2 on that one. All right, there you go. I don't know if that makes a difference or not, but I like them. All right, now for this part, I would use a spoon.
Okay.
So would you grab a spoon, just a plain What's next, Raina?
The mustard seed.
Very good. Okay, so, you know, it's probably easier to just take a pinch with your fingers and dust the top of the pork tenderloin with a nice generous smattering of the crushed mustard. So here, I'll let you do the next 2.
Yay!
Yay. Okay. Boy, you smell how pungent it is?
Yeah.
Yeah, it has a strong scent.
I love this smell.
Yeah, I do too. Actually, it looks like we ended up toasting a lot more than we needed. So I would say for writing the recipe online, when I type that up, I may say go with 1 tablespoon of the mustard crushed, because this is going a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I think each of them can get another one. Hang on to that bowl. You sprinkle and I'll sprinkle, and we'll get this done. Okay, that'll be a pause there in the editing while we do this. Well, we're showing you the coverage of the toasted mustard seed, toasted crushed mustard seed. And now we're ready to add the chopped rosemary. All right, don't overdo it. All right, just a few little twigs on each roast. And remember, we have some of it underneath. Okay, so there we go. All right, you see how much I have on there, Raina?
Yep.
All right, do the next 2.
Okay.
Good job.
Oops.
Yeah, maybe a little more on this end and that end. There you go. Okay. That's great. And then we'll save this and we can sprinkle it on the edges of the serving dish as a little garnish.
Oh, that's cute.
That's cute, yeah. Okay, well let's double check. We have our oil on here, we have our salt on here, we have our pepper on here, we have our dried mustard, we have our rosemary. Right. It's ready to go in the oven. But we have a little bit of time. We're preparing ahead of time because we're having a lot of company tonight. So we have to do our work in stages.
Right.
Right. So I'm going to cover this with cling wrap, and it's going to sit in the refrigerator until we're ready to put it in the oven. And actually it may make it taste better because our seasoning will have time to kind of work into the meat. Okay, ready to take a break?
Yeah.
All right, let's cover this up and get it refrigerated.
Okay, I'll find some room in the refrigerator.
That's the challenge. The glaze for this roast is as easy as it comes. I simply use a red raspberry preserves. If you prefer the seedless, that of course is your choice. I do like the seeds. So I simply take a good quality red raspberry jam or red raspberry preserves, and I take about 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 tablespoons full. If I look at this glass cup measure, I have, it looks like about half a cup. Yep, I have about a half to 2/3 a cup. Put it in the microwave, start it to melt and become more liquid. Then I'll take it out. If I need, I add a little water so that it'll pour on the meat. I took this out of the microwave. It was in there for about a minute on high. It was starting to just bubble at the edges. I took it out, stirred it down, and I can see it's fine. It's going to flow off very nicely onto the roast. I don't need to add any water. It might be that this is just such a nice quality product that I can melt it down without thinning it out. There's some that I've bought that I've had to thin out a little bit, but this is going to be perfect. All right. The 4 tenderloins have roasted in the oven at 325 degrees. We used a meat probe. It did hit 160 degrees Fahrenheit internally as during that 45-minute time period. Technically it's finished, but we're not ready for our guest yet, and we need to give this the glaze. So here is the melted raspberry preserves, and I'm going to take a generous spoonful over the top of each of these tenderloins, dividing the melted preserves, and it'll slide down over the meat, begin to flavor, and if you look in the bottom of the pan, a lot of juices. Nope, not showing. A lot of the juices are pooling, and the meat has let go of some juices there. They're in the bottom of the pan as it's roasted, and our raspberry sauce will begin to cook off the meat and blend in with those meat juices. So we're going to finish up. Like I said, we had, I don't know, about half a cup of raspberries for these 4 tenderloins. And we'll get this nicely spread. And, okay, I have a little bit of juice sticking to the inside of that glass, and I thought, what the heck? We'll just drain that in there. Okay, drain that in there. Get all that raspberry sauce. Alright, now this is going to go back into the oven. Our company will be arriving soon. I want the glaze to finish. I am, in this case, going to lower it to 300 because I don't want it to overcook. It's almost at that point, and it'll be ready when our company comes. Great. We're ready to get our pork tenderloins out of the oven. The glaze has been put on it. Yeah, it does look good, and it smells good too.
Yeah.
Okay, now when we take a roast out, we don't want to start serving it right away because we want the juices to set in the meat. So we're going to remove this roast from the pan and put it on the serving dish and tent it with an aluminum tent we're going to create for roughly 10 minutes. And that allows the juices to set and makes a juicier piece of meat. All right?
Okay.
So, there we go. Just take a little aluminum foil and cover the meat with that, okay?
Okay.
Okay. We want it to set, but we don't want it to get too cold.
Right.
Okay, now we have two options with the sauce. All right. If we wanted to, we could use this and make a thickened gravy. And I would use some cornstarch with it. But when we don't do anything except use the juices from the pan, it's called au jus, and that's what we're going to do. So we're going to get a little gravy boat and put that to the side. And in a couple minutes, we'll be calling everyone in to enjoy our luscious raspberry rosemary pork roast. Yeah. Okay. All right, Raina, we're ready to serve this to our family tonight.
Yay!
Yay is right. Okay. What I've done is we've let it sit for about 10 minutes, and I'm going to cut it on what is called on the bias, against the grain and at a slight angle. All right, and that'll make the meat more tender as people are cutting it on their plates. So we're going to cut it in slices.
Okay.
All right, and then I wish I had a sharper knife.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. So, Raina, how about you take a couple slices and see how it goes, all right? You see how thick I made them? I'm only making them about 1/4 of an inch thick. You don't want to make big hunks because it's not as tender to eat if you do that. Okay, give it a slice.
Okay.
Anchor the fork in the meat a little further back. Hold it steady with your left hand and slice with your right. And slightly at an angle like that. Excellent.
It's so hard.
Yeah, it's not quite as tough as it looks. Okay, here, let me see.
The juices.
Yeah, you can see the juices coming. So we're going to go through and cut the meat that way, set it back in the platter, and then after we get enough slices out so that people can start serving them, we'll put a little bit of that
Gravy.
gravy or the natural sauce that comes from cooking the meat across the meat like that. Alright, and that'll be done. So let's have Uncle John take a look at our slices of pork roast and rosemary, okay, with raspberry sauce. Okay, thanks for coming to Aunt Janet's Kitchen. I hope you enjoy this tasty pork dish and get back to us and let us know how it turned out. Right, Raina?
Right.
All right, thanks a lot. So long.
Bye.